Well, good evening and welcome to Meaningful Monday. It's always good to be back. Tonight's topic is really, I have to say, one of a kind. Why I say that is just working through the material, I found what I call blind spots. I didn't even realize how much we seek approval. So the topic for tonight is you don't need their approval. And this is really the purpose of Meaningful Monday. For anyone who's new to Meaningful Monday, I'd say big warm welcome because there are some people who are new. It's just to raise awareness. It's the first Monday of every month. It's a free webinar. And when I say raise awareness, it's to raise awareness that we really do create our lives. We're not victims by any means. We not have life happen to us. We really do create the life that we live. So that's great for people living a good life, but those are not living such a good life, I'm here to help you by saying, if things are not working out as well for you as you'd like them to, then, stay connected and keep joining webinars like this. All of them are recorded and on YouTube. And if you want your life to get better and better, it starts first and foremost by taking 100% responsibility for your situation. So taking 100% responsibility for improving things, creating a better life, and it always starts with our thoughts, having more positive thoughts than negative thoughts, because every negative thought cannot possibly lead to a positive outcome. It's just not possible. It's like saying it's mathematical. 1 + 1 can't equal a different number except 2. So positive thoughts give positive outcomes, negative thoughts give negative outcomes. So tonight, the topic tonight is you don't need their approval. And the material I give credit to that I've used and drawn from is Wayne Dyer's most famous first book called Your Erroneous Zones. So just in case anyone doesn't know the word erroneous, the book was a bestseller overnight because people thought it was about eroticism and erotic and sex, but it's not. Erroneous means error, mistake. So when we say your erroneous zones, it means zones in your life where we have wrong thinking. And one perfect example of wrong thinking is that we actually need people's approval to have a sense of self-worth. That we need people's approval to feel valuable or to feel like we are of value or have value. Well done, Jayanti. I see that you managed to sort out your video. I think I'm correct, so you can see the slides, I'm hoping. By the way, anyone who's listening, if you're on mute, thank you. If you want to say anything at any time, just unmute your own microphone. If I hear feedback, I might click yours onto mute. If you want to talk, just check that yours is not muted and then you may speak. All right, so just getting into the lesson tonight about you don't need their approval. This is something for yourselves, whoever you are, because we're actually conditioned to need approval. And if you're a parent, please pay attention and take notes and try to convey as much of this lesson to your children as you possibly can. Because what I can tell you is the need for approval is a conditioned response that starts at a really, really early age. I'm talking about 0 to 7 in our imprint phase. And then it just gets reinforced for more approval during our school years. It's almost a form of conditioning. And so it goes into tertiary education, into the workplace. So I'm here to try to free you up and break these, what I call chains that bind you to the value that you seek or that you see in yourself being given to you from an outside source of other people's approval, because that is not where your value lies. Your value is in who you are. Your own value and your own self-worth and self-esteem should actually be self-generated. And some of you have got a better self-esteem than others. And for those of you You have a good and healthy one, fantastic, because you will see those who do have a healthy self-esteem don't really care much about what other people think. And people who do care so much about what other people are thinking, who fear criticism terribly, it's a conditioned response. You've been conditioned to getting your value from what people say about what you're thinking, what you're doing, and what you're saying. So let's move into the lesson for tonight. So it says approval seeking is an erroneous zone only when it becomes a need rather than a want. So when I say when I say a need, we're talking about that you only really feel valuable or happy when you have the endorsement of people. And I'll say this, everybody likes to have positive feedback. Everybody likes to have approval. We want it. Wanting is okay. It's lovely. You get a compliment or you're told you've done well. We all love that and we want that. But when it's actually a need, when I say a need, what it means is if you don't get it, you kind of fall apart. Whoops. If you don't get it, basically what we're saying is you will feel less worthy than what you actually are. And I just want to put this here. Instead of questioning why someone doesn't approve of you or your choices, ask yourself, why do I need their approval in the first place? It's a good question. Why do you need other people's approval? The most dangerous thing you can do in life is to leave your own value and approval in the hands of someone else. Because then you are going to be bounced around emotionally all the time. If you know the value is yours and it's inside of you, it doesn't matter what people think or say, you won't be a prisoner to those kind of things. And we don't want to only feel good inside when people give you praise. Now, I want to also say it's impossible to go through life without, incurring a great deal of disapproval. You're going to get disapproval a lot through life. This is true. This is how life really is. So we don't want to need it, because if we need approval, we're going to find that we can't be our true selves. We can't be true to ourselves because we're thinking about what we're saying. Are people going to approve of it? We're going to think about what we are doing. Are people going to approve of it? So you can never just be yourself. You can never just do what you absolutely want to do. That's right for you. That makes you happy. You're always second guessing your words and your actions, hoping to please people in what you're doing and never upset the status quo and never get people saying, oh, no, I don't agree with you, or don't do that. So when we need this kind of approval, what we're doing, we sacrifice ourselves for the opinion of others. And maybe you in your life have found from time to time that you agree with someone because you fear them not favoring you, or you fear them not liking you. So we agree with people sometimes just so that, we can please them, so that they can like us, or we think that they can like us. Sometimes we even adopt certain behaviors around certain people just to win their approval. We're just not really being our true selves. So the question is, when you need people's approval, why do you care if you don't get it? So if you want to make a note, journal for yourself and ask yourself the question, why do you care so much if people don't approve of you? And really sit with that question, because you need to know that your value has got nothing to do with someone else's opinion of you. And the only one that you should care about is your own view of yourself. How much do you value yourself? That's who you should care about. We should not care about what other people think of us. And, well, for the most part, if we're doing what is right for us. So this is about living true. It's almost like a compass in your life, a beacon, a true, like a true north for you, a beacon of light in your life, is to stay aligned with your values, your beliefs, and what it is that is important and valuable and right and just for you in your life. Because when we start behaving and saying things to please other people, we are out of alignment with our true values, and then the only one who gets hurt in that case is ourselves. So this is really a very important lesson, because a lot of people think that they're unhappy and they just don't know why. This is a major part of happiness, is being true to yourself in all your actions and all your words all the time, without fear that people are not going to agree with you, and to not fear being criticized. We are conditioned to fear criticism. It's so bad, this fear of criticism. To be honest, the whole fashion industry is built on the fear of criticism. The whole car industry is built on the fear of criticism, because, you know, we want the latest and newest and best thing. You see, the most wonderful people to be around are people who are comfortable in their own skin. And this is really what I'm alluding to as I'm going through this lesson tonight. So a question for you is, have you found yourself agreeing with someone whose disfavor you fear, just to please them? And if the answer is yes, then I have to say, how often does that happen to you? I see someone else has joined. Hi, Melissa, and a big welcome. So don't be so afraid of disagreements that you lose your voice. I just saw the connection was lost there for a second. So when I say don't be so afraid of disagreements that you lose your voice, when I was in corporate over the years, most of my 20 years in corporate, I had a team of people. And whenever I took over a new team, I used to always say to them, it's more important that you have an opinion than it is to have people agree with your opinion. I said, don't put so much attention as to whether you open your mouth and share your opinion, whether people will say, yep, you're right, or no, I don't agree with you. I said, put that aside and make that really of less importance. And of what's more important is that you actually have an opinion. And what's also important is that you are able to express your opinion freely and confidently. And that's really important. And teach your children that. They need to say what they think. They need to express what they feel without fear of criticism and without fear of other people not agreeing with them or not approving of them. Because if we keep on behaving with a thought of how am I going to sound? What are they going to think of me? You lose your voice. What that means is you lose you. You lose a part of you. A part of you just, I don't know, fades away. Like a part of you is left to die. And then the part of you that carries on living is not the true you, because you're not expressing who you are and what you truly want. So when it comes to disapproval or people not respecting you or you not being popular or being disfavored, the lesson tonight is to say, try your best to be aware if this shows up for you and let it go. Cut it from you. Like, let it go and start to become a person who thinks, if this is what I believe, this is my opinion and I'm sticking to it. I must tell you, I love a motivational speaker called Les Brown. I don't know if any of you know Les Brown, but if you haven't heard of him, I suggest you pop onto YouTube any day you need a bit of motivation or you just want a bit of a pep talk. Les Brown's the best. And I've actually been blessed enough to meet him in person in Orlando at the John Maxwell team. But Les Brown, what was I going to say about him? I can't now slip my mind. But it's basically about never lose your voice. Your voice and your opinion must be heard. And don't go around thinking that whatever you say has to be second guessed in case people don't agree with you. But the actual thought I had about Les Brown, it just slipped my mind. It will come to me. I'm not too sure what it was. Anyway, it'll come to me. All right. So today we talk about self-worth. This is Wayne Dyer. He says self-worth cannot be verified by others. You are worthy because you say it is so. If you depend on others for your value, then it's other worth, not self-worth. Now, everybody needs a healthy sense of self-worth and self-esteem and self-respect and self-confidence. They're not all exactly the same, they're all a little bit different, but these are the foundational pillars of success. If people don't have any self-value or self-esteem or a good self-image, they're not confident enough to take on challenges, to try new things, to step out and say what they think and what they believe and innovate, be creative out there, be a bit daring, because they don't have the confidence, because they don't believe in themselves enough. So it's really important that you come to a firm decision in your mind, hopefully tonight, through the awareness of this lesson, that you will no longer allow your own worth to be verified by other people. So sometimes you may be feeling insecure, you may be feeling a bit shaky or unstable, like you're not really sure of your footing. And when we have this feeling of insecurity all the time, it actually causes anxiety. So if anyone here listening seriously suffers from any form of anxiety, or you know someone, or your child does, I want you to please connect the dots that anxiety can be linked to strong feelings of being insecure. And it's not necessarily about outside factors only. It's about them insecure in the situation that they're in, how they are perceived by people. They're not sure of themselves. So this is really very, very important. Wayne Dyer says that lacking self-worth is like being a tree without roots. Can you imagine how unstable a tree is without its roots? So self-worth are our roots. Self-worth, we need to be more and more and more, or more strong every day in our self-worth to become resilient in life, because then you have like a huge strong tree with very strong roots. It can weather the storm. It can last through the earthquakes. But when there's no self-value and there are no roots, the thing just falls over at the slightest little bump. And we don't want that, because that's how we are bumped around in life emotionally. And what we need emotionally is to be strong. What we need is to be strong mentally. Really important. And self-worth is the foundation, it's the roots of it. Now, in the Cambridge Dictionary, it says that self-worth is defined as the value you give to your life and your achievements. Now, my friends, the only one who can determine that is you. You're the only one who can give value to who you are and to value your own achievements. So just a quick thing on this point while we're here is to ask, how do you develop more self-worth? Because your self-worth must depend on you and on no one else. Here are a few quick tips. I haven't got it on a slide, but I'll just share these. So if you're writing this down, you may want to write this down. Some quick tips to develop self-worth. One is to use positive affirmations every day in the correct way. Speak up to yourself. I am strong. I am worthy. I've got this. I can do this. I've been through tough things before. I got through it. I can do it again. I'm tougher than I think. I believe in myself. I believe in my value. I believe in my dreams. I'm going to get through this. Whatever it may be, just positive self-talk. And the minute something pops in your head that's negative, I'm just going to give you a quick, off the topic here, Silva method technique, the cancel technique. If you ever run yourself down, just immediately go cancel, and overwrite it with a positive statement like, oh, I'm never going to get through this. Cancel. Somehow, some way, I will get through this. I'm strong. I believe in myself. Talk yourself up. So it might sound very simplistic, but it actually works. The brain takes things literally. So when you say cancel, it actually stops that neural pathway from being strongly developed. That's the first one, to develop self-worth. Positive affirmations. Identify what you're good at. We're all good at things, some things, different things. What are you good at? Remind yourself. In fact, make a list. There's something that I call a learning model of achievement. I've done this in many of my workshops. You write your life from 0 to whatever age you are now. Let's say you're 40, and you cut it up into decades. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and everything you can remember through all those decades, you just write where you've achieved something. And keep that somewhere where you can look at frequently. Add to it as more things come to you. But reviewing your actual achievements is evidence of your worth. Remind yourself of your achievements and claim it. That's your self-worth. The other thing to help develop your self-worth is, how do you handle compliments? If you're the kind of person who goes, oh, yeah, like, thanks, but. So you look lovely today. Yeah, thanks, but this is an old shirt, or my hair's too long, or that's running yourself down and diverting that compliment away from you. So here's a tip from today. No matter what anyone says and how they say, when they give you a compliment, you only respond this way. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing. Start practicing that. If you're a person who doesn't take compliments well, from today, the only way you respond to a compliment is thanks for noticing. Those of you on this call and you've got a bunch of friends like Jayanti and so on, do that amongst yourselves. Pay each other compliments and watch and listen to each other say, thank you for noticing. That's the only way you respond. Another one would be, just remind yourself of your real worth. You're a person of huge worth, so much worth. Remind yourself of everything you do that's of worth, where you work, with your friends, with your family, your parents, if you've got children, with your parents. You are a person of worth. Remind yourself. And please, the last thing I want to mention is, in your life, become aware of people pleasing. If you can just get rid of that, it's the most awful thing to live an unauthentic life, is when we do things to please people. I'm not talking about intentional kindness. That's fantastic. I'm talking about you're doing things to please people and they're not really what you want to do. So you're saying yes when you actually want to say no. So my recommendation is, you've got to replace people pleasing with self-care. So when you're tired and a friend says, oh, won't you come with me? I need to go shopping. I need to buy a dress or whatever. And you actually want to stay at home and rest. And you say, yes, okay. And inside, you wish you could just stay at home and rest. What do you think you're doing to yourself? You're people pleasing on the outside, but inside you're betraying yourself. Self-betrayal, my friends, is the highest form of betrayal. And the only thing that happens is we start to develop anger and resentment. And very often it's misdirected, and we think we're angry at the person or our husband or our child or our in-law. We get angry and resentful, and we lash out and say they did this or this. Most of the time, it's not that. It's us who are people-pleasing and not self-caring. So that's the last tip. Start to care for yourself and don't people-please. All right. Now, young children, they truly do need acceptance. They really do. It's true. They need it from their parents, significant adults, their grandparents, their loved ones, whoever it may be, in their very early years. So it's important that you do give them, positive praise and good feedback on what they're doing. But what is not healthy is when a child needs to get their parents' sanction or agreement for everything. Everything they say, everything they think, everything they feel, everything they do, they want their parents' approval. That is not healthy. There's a major problem of insecurity brewing there. So I'm going to give you some tips in a second on how to make a child more resilient. But you cannot have your children depend on your approval all the time. All you're doing when you do that, you're not equipping them to be stronger. We're actually enabling them and facilitating them to be weaker, not stronger. So I just want to say that if a child grows up to feel that he cannot think or act without first getting permission from a parent, then the neurotic seeds of self-doubt are planted very early. And you don't want your child to grow up neurotic with anxiety and self-doubt. Now, I also want to say there's a massive difference between a healthy sense of wanting love and acceptance, which is perfect, coming from a caring parent, and a different thing, which is approval seeking as a self-defeating need when a child's been conditioned to check out every single thing that they do or that they say with mommy or daddy. That's not okay. That's not healthy. That's actually very dangerous for their future, for their coping mechanisms in life, for their success. Okay, so when they need to check everything with the parent and they want the approval all the time, it doesn't allow them to build trust in themselves. Children need to believe in themselves. They need to trust themselves. They need to have a strong sense of self-reliance. Now, there are two common suggestions for building internal motivation in kids. And what we want internal motivation. We want them to be strong from the inside, not motivated from the outside, that the child is not happy, not motivated, not worth anything, unless it's people saying to them, come on, you can do it, you're better than that, keep going. That's external motivation. We want children to have internal motivation. I just want to say that two things can lead to a child desperately seeking approval. One is over-criticizing. That makes sense. The other one is over-praising. So just be aware that over-praising is also unhealthy as much as over-criticizing is unhealthy and damaging to a child. So the problem with praise or criticism with children is that most of the time that praise or criticism, hear this, it's actually about us. It's not that much about the child as it is about us and how we feel about our child's success, how we feel about our child's failure. So this criticism or praise is often about us, and that's not really good at all. We need to help the child develop their own image, their own strong self-worth. So if the child views everything that they do only of value based on your opinion, then the problem is they have to keep coming to you to have that opinion to feel worthy. So the first has two tips. The first thing is make the praise about the child, not about what they've done, about them themselves. I'm going to give you examples here. And focus on the effort they've put into it and not the result that's come out. So even if the result is not very strong, but the effort was very strong, they need to be rewarded or praised for that effort. I remember my mother always saying to me as a kid, as long as you've done your best, that's what counts. But you really need to be honest with yourself. Have you done your best? And that's really true. So here's some examples. Instead of saying to a child, I'm so proud of you, say to them, you must be so proud of yourself. So shift that feeling of pride as self-generated. Very important. Practice that line. Tell your child often when they've done something well, you must be proud of yourself. And let them acknowledge and say, like, yes, I'm proud of myself. Actually, let them say it. Instead of saying you got an A for the test, what great results, say you really studied hard for that test. So you put the value into the effort they've made. Or if instead of saying, oh, wow, you've solved the problem, good job, thank you. What we actually say is you are a fantastic problem solver. Because if you give them a compliment about them being a great problem solver, you build their self-esteem, you build their self-worth, you're building a self-image. There's a connection, hold on. You're building their self-image of one of self-worth. Yes, I'm a great problem solver. They're going to start believing that. If they believe and they hear frequently they're a great problem solver, they will get better and better at problem solving. So always put it inside as opposed to outside. Never, instead of saying something like, that was good thinking or that was a good idea, tell them you have an awesome imagination. You have great creative ideas. You are fantastic at idea generating. So can you see the difference of talking about the result versus talking about the effort or what they themselves have done? That really helps children. Now, if you don't want your child to be controlled by this desire for approval, which I have to say many adults are suffering, all over the world today, the majority of us are affected by this need for approval. So if you want to help your kids, then the best thing you can do for them is to raise them to be resilient. Resilient people can cope. Resilient people get through tough times. Resilient people overcome failure. So here are a couple of tips. Resilient people have a positive view of themselves and they have confidence in their strengths and abilities. But not just confidence from nowhere, it's reason-based confidence. There's actual evidence there. So talk your child through that, their good strengths, their good abilities, and help them identify it as they own it. Not that you are claiming it, that they can claim it for themselves. The next one is the ability to manage strong feelings or impulses. That's really challenging for a lot of kids because they don't really know when a feeling that's very strong comes over them, how to deal with it. So always try, if a child's had an emotional outburst of any kind, when they've calmed down afterwards, really sit down with them in a loving and caring way and reflect on what happened and ask coaching questions and draw out of them, what do they think happened there? Could they do that better next time? If they were having a tantrum, make it very clear that the behavior is unacceptable, but you understand that they were feeling this or feeling that. And then help them in future, when you feel like this or feel like that, yes, it's not nice. It does happen from time to time, but that kind of behavior is not acceptable. So always help them manage those emotions, talk them through it and see how well you can guide them to become more in control of the emotions and be able to manage those emotions. People who don't get that right, as adults, they don't get far in the workplace, people who can't manage their own emotions. The true measure of intelligence, my friends, is emotional intelligence. The most academically intelligent people sometimes don't get very far in life because they're not emotionally intelligent. So managing emotions is absolutely key to success. When people can't control their tempers or can't control their emotions, they get themselves into trouble all the time. So emotional intelligence is important. The next one, good problem solving and good communication skills. Definitely. Feelings of being in control. Resilient people know how to seek help. They know how to find resources that they need. Resilient people can see themselves as resilient rather than as a victim. Definitely. The victim mentality is the worst thing. It keeps us stuck in life and we never make progress. That's what I said when I opened tonight's Meaningful Monday. The purpose of Meaningful Monday is to raise your awareness that you're not a victim. Take 100% responsibility for all your results. All of them. Take 100% responsibility. You're really on your way to a better future. The next one, resilient people can cope with stress in healthy ways and avoid harmful coping strategies like abusing their bodies or alcohol or drugs or whatever it may be. Poor nutrition, eating badly, and so on, putting on weight. And lastly, resilient people help others. Now, I've put that in bold because one of the greatest ways to build self-esteem and self-confidence is to help others. This is a fact. If you intentionally add value to people, and I say intentionally add value, because by default, we're not going to do it. You've got to be intentional and step out of your comfort zone. If we intentionally add value to people, we increase our self-worth, our self-esteem, and our self-confidence. So if you want to teach your child a fantastic lesson, is to help them connect the dots that when they help, be the first to help at school when the teacher needs help. If someone's struggling, be the first to help. If someone that you see, you don't even know them or you know them, any chance you get, helping others, resilient people help others. So I just put that in bold because it's a two-way effect to help build self-esteem. So just quickly, how to teach a child to be resilient. Don't accommodate their every need. Don't try and solve every problem that they have. Everything they need, I'll give you this, I'll give you that, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. I'll sort it out. I'll help you. I'll tie your shoelaces. Oh, no, I'll make sure it doesn't fall off the plate. Here, give it to me. Let me open it. Everything. No. Help your children develop their own problem-solving skills. Stand back. Guide them. Coach them. Let them do it. Let them make mistakes. Let them try again. Don't accommodate their every need. It's the worst thing we can do. Overprotecting your children leads to anxiety in children. The more you help them, you give it a chance. You do it. Don't be afraid. You give it a shot. Build their confidence to help themselves, not have you do everything for them. The next one is avoid eliminating all risks. Of course, as good parents, we want to protect our kids and take away risks so they don't hurt themselves. I get that. I'm not being silly here and saying, put your child at risk. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is don't eliminate all risks. Let there be a little bit of risk involved. That's how children can learn. Keep it in a safe place. Keep the risks to a degree safe. But when we take away all risks with children, we rob them of learning how to be resilient, how to develop these skills. And we do need to teach them that. So this is a very strange example, and I might be polarizing with this example, and some people might say, oh, I don't agree with that, and others might say, no, that's quite okay. I'll tell you anyway. It was me. My younger brother, when he was a child, I was 21. So when I was about 25, he was about 4 years old. And it's my younger brother, who's actually passed on, sadly, a few years ago. But anyway, when he was a small kid of 4, his mom was in the house, not my mom. His mom was in the house. And I was at the pool with my dad. And he kept running to the edge of the pool, and he couldn't swim. And we kept pulling him back. His name is Gianmarco. Jamie, come back. Jamie, don't get close to the pool. And I said to my dad, you know what, we're right here. Even if he falls in, he's going to be fine because we're going to pull him out. We're right here. I said, leave him. Tell him if he goes too close, he may fall in. And if he falls in, he's going to get a fright. But it can happen. You're just letting him know and leave him. So my dad, is quite adventurous like me. So he said, okay. So we told him that and we left him. He played around. He went there. He went over. He fell off balance himself. And he did fall in. We were right there. We grabbed him, his T-shirt. We pulled him, got him out here. He was a bit startled at first. But what did he learn? He learned the greatest lesson of his life. He never did that again. He never fell in a pool again. He wasn't afraid of water. He wasn't traumatized. He loved the pool. He loved swimming. But to learn a lesson of don't get close to the edge, he couldn't learn it from all the blah, blah, blah. He learned it from experience. That's an example of eliminating risk, Leave some risk involved and let them learn. Teach your children to problem solve. Don't always give them the answer. Ask them the question. What do you think will work? How do you think we can fix this problem? Let them come up with it. Teach your kids proper concrete skills. I'm talking about things like reflection. When something's gone wrong or they're unhappy or they've had a tantrum or they cried for something at school or whatever, help them reflect. Also help your children plan. That sounds a bit strange, but they don't really think about the future much. Just help teach them these skills. Help them to visualize positive outcomes. Can I tell you, with children, they will love it. They love using their imagination. So tell them, close your eyes and see yourself doing so well in your sports game or doing so well in class or see yourself delivering a great talk today at school, whatever it may be. Help them to visualize. Help them to be calm. Teach your children how to be calm. If you don't know how to be calm, jump onto other meaningful Mondays of mine or, join the Silva method. I've got the Silva method down below there. The first skill we learn is how to remain calm and focused even under pressure. Meditation. So whatever it is, teach your kids real concrete skill that can equip them in life. Also avoid why questions. Why did that not work? Ask them how questions. So when something goes wrong, don't say why. Why did it go wrong? Say, how could you fix that? How could you be better next time? So how? Never ask why, change it to how. All right, don't provide all the answers. Every time a child asks you something, if you answer them every time, you become the fountain of infinite knowledge. There's no knowledge in their mind, it's all in your mind. Turn it around. Help them become resourceful with themselves. Start saying to them, I don't know. What do you think? Say to them, I really don't know. What do you think? I'm interested in what you think the answer is. Doesn't matter as long as they start to use their own mind and their own brain and start to think. Avoid talking in catastrophic terms. Can I tell you that as parents, if you're parents, be very, very aware of your language in your house. Just as much as we don't want to swear because we don't want to bring up kids with bad language, catastrophic terms, saying things like, oh, it's a disaster, or, I'm dying to have this thing or whatever, or this job is killing me. That's catastrophic language. In the Silva method, that's why the logo's at the bottom, we eliminate that. That's the first thing we do on day one, is get rid of all catastrophic terminology. And you know what, in front of your kids, it's so important because they absorb absolutely everything. And trust me, they're paying attention to what you say all the time. And parents who use catastrophic terminology, it's been proven they have more anxious children. So if you want to avoid making your child unnecessarily anxious, speak in positive terms. Don't say it's a disaster. Say, I hope it was better, or I wish it was better. What do you want? Don't say it's a disaster. Yes, even if it's not very good, say it's not really that great. I wish it was better. But to use catastrophic terms, it affects them. The other thing is, let your child make mistakes. I cannot stress this enough. I'm busy preparing for a leadership mastermind coming up in the middle of November. I'm on this chapter. It's a John Maxwell book called Developing the Leader Within You. And in the chapter on attitude and on other chapters, John Maxwell talks about failure at length, pages and pages and pages of how important it is to fail and to get rid of this stigma that failure is so terrible and shameful. It's not. Failure is how we learn. People who are highly successful have often and most likely failed their way repeatedly until they became successful. So let your child make mistakes and let them know failure is not the end of the world. It's okay. That's how we learn. We learn. We try again. Do it another way. Do it another way. All great inventors, they never saw anything as failure. It was trial and error. Did it work? No, let's try another way. Did it work? No, try another way. Trial and error. So teach your kids. Let them make mistakes. Don't try and have them avoid messing up or avoid making mistakes or having slip-ups. That doesn't help them at all. The other thing is help them manage their emotions. I said this earlier, if a child's really upset about something or they can't get their way, often easiest way to get them upset, don't let them have their way. You need to stand firm on a decision as a parent that you take, but if they can't control their emotions, you need to say, look, I'm sorry that you don't have this or that, but this behavior is not okay. They need to understand the difference between the two. And that even when we're feeling angry, it's okay. We do feel angry. It happens to all of us. But when we feel angry, we can't behave if they've behaved, over the top or incorrectly. We need to self-regulate. We need to learn to self-manage. Exercising self-control is one of the necessary ingredients to be successful. Can you imagine a CEO who can't exercise self-control on an emotional level, losing his temper, flying off the handle, screaming, slamming doors? You'll never see that. The two pictures don't even go together. So exercising self-control, you teach them from as young as you possibly can. It's okay to feel this way, but let's manage our behavior. And when we feel this way, how can we deal with it? Teach them skills. Count to 10, take deep breaths, go for a walk, do something, but help them to manage their emotions. And the other one is to lead by example and model resiliency. There's no better way to teach your kids than to lead by example. They're watching you all the time. So you can't say to your kid, hey, you calm down. Meantime, you're freaking out. You know what I'm saying? Or if they watch you lose your temper every couple of hours, and then when they lose theirs, you freak out. No. You have to model the behavior that you want. So these are a couple of tips for your kid to become more resilient. And that is so linked. Let me go back. That is so linked to not needing approval. Let me tell you, people who are not resilient, They don't trust themselves. They don't have much of a strong self-confidence and self-image. They need this approval on the outside, and it causes them to behave in ways that is not true to themselves. So when you teach a child resilience, you're equipping them with coping mechanisms for the rest of their life, and trust me, they will need less approval. They may want it and enjoy it, but they won't need it as such. Okay, seeking validation will keep you trapped. You don't need anyone or anything to approve of your worth. And my friends, when you understand this is true, you'll be free. So people who are free are comfortable in their own skin. They do what they want. They can laugh at themselves. They can take chances. They can make mistakes. They're okay with it. They're learning all the time. When we're too afraid and we need everyone to agree with and approve of what we're doing, we don't step out of the lines. We don't try anything new, and we remain small. I don't want you to remain small. I want you to expand and grow and become the best version of yourself. You want the same for your children. Get out of the trap of seeking validation. Here are a couple of lovely quotes. It says, a truly strong person does not need the approval of others any more than a lion needs the approval of sheep. I love that. A truly strong person. That's where we're heading. We want to be strong. Here's one for all of you that when you're thinking about this approval thing, think about conformity. School teaches us conformity. Try to be the good on the right. Other thing, do your daughters a huge favor and raise them to be okay with people not liking them. I'm telling you, even if it's your sons, it doesn't have to be your daughters, both your kids, sons and daughters. This is the most valuable thing you can teach your kids. Be okay with people disagreeing with you. Be okay with people not liking you. You need to be you, and you need to be true to you. Best lesson ever. Because if they're afraid of people not liking them, who do they become? They are so insecure and so unsure of themselves. We don't want anyone to live that way. And here's the last one. What's the point of being alive if you're just going to do what other people want you to do? What's the point of being alive? You were meant for something more. You were meant to do great things, not to sacrifice yourself to others. So when you look at school, not as a place where we learned information, but as a place where we learned about ourselves, you'll discover that there are some... Sorry guys, we lost the connection there for a second. I apologize. I hope you're all back on track. Okay, sorry about that. I'm not too sure what happened there. So when we were at school, as I said, we learned about ourselves. We discovered that there's some lessons that we pick up from school that we don't even realize. The one is that success comes from the approval of others. That's a totally false notion. So at school, you learn to be obedient. That's the whole thing. And you find when children aren't that obedient, that they're full of self-love and independence and self-expression, and they don't suffer from guilt and worry, we then call them troublemakers. So can you see how that conditioning sets itself in the early years? So what happens, they go through this conditioning, and by the time they get to high school, the student's terrified of really thinking for himself. It's just easier to do what's expected and to not get into trouble. So it's all about conformity. So when we say success comes from the approval of others, well, what happens is we live in a culture today where we're more concerned with appearing to be something important rather than actually being something important. So we think that how we appear on the outside and what people approve of our appearance, that equals our value, our success. It's not. And the school system is actually performance-based and not purpose-based. Now, this is a very important thing to mention. We are rewarding children at school for their performance all the time. So it's about the results, the results, the results. We grow up thinking that that's where we need to get our value is from results. But actually, the most important thing to do is to understand your purpose, your value as a human being, and the purpose for you being alive, the purpose for you being around. Because if we purpose focused, we follow our passions, we stay in our strength zone, we do what we're good at. That's the best path to take into adulthood, as opposed to being just performance driven, just about results. The next one is you learned that failure is a source of shame. Failure is not a source of shame. Failure is a requirement for success. We spoke about that. Innovation requires failure. Creativity has a lot of trial and error in it. All the best things in life that are created and through innovation have come with countless amounts of failures. There was just this book written by Malcolm Gladwell. For those of you who don't know Malcolm Gladwell, he wrote The Tipping Point, he wrote Outliers, and he also wrote David and Goliath. I've read, I think 2 or 3 of his books. They're fantastic. And he talks about a disproportionate amount of highly, highly successful people who are either dyslexic or high school dropouts. And he looked into that as to why. And you know what the reason was? They were accustomed to failure. Because they were dyslexic or maybe high school dropouts, they became comfortable with failure. So they tried more things. When we mollycoddle our kids and protect them and everything they do has to be perfect every time, the first time we do it must be perfect, prepare. They're terrified of failure. They don't really try anything that might be risky, that might include failure. If it's too risky, if there could be failure, they won't even try. So they found these very successful people became comfortable with failure, allowed them to take more calculated risks. So you see, failure helps us. It helps us learn. So never have them feeling or teach your kids or anyone that failure is a source of shame. It absolutely isn't. And the last one, learn to depend on authority. This is so true. We've learned to depend on authority so much so that many people today are actually scared of not having someone tell them what to do. Some people are totally lost without a boss at work, do this, then do this, then do that. They won't know, they feel totally lost. Be aware, this is a conditioned thing. We are conditioned to depend on authority. We become comfortable with it. Now, in today's day and age, I'm telling you, this is very dangerous. Way back in the industrial era, yes, it was important to depend on authority because that's how companies and factories and things were built. But today, we need people to be free thinkers. This planet needs more innovators, more solutions. We're dealing with climate change. We're dealing with political unrest. We're dealing with poverty. We need innovative thinkers, and they can't depend on authority. So it really does kill creative thinking to be so conditioned to depend on authority. So that's just one of the other things. Try to help your kids see past that and to think for themselves. Don't depend on authority and don't fear authority. Best gift you can give your kids. Everyone is a human being. Doesn't matter if they're the principal. Yes, we treat everyone with respect. We're not saying not to be respectful, but your opinion is as important as the principal's. Your opinion is as important as anyone. Let them have that feeling of self-worth. It says here, we acquire approval-seeking systems from other sources as well. Yes, we do. It's not just from school. The government. If we do things that they don't approve of, we get into big trouble. We get a fine or we get put in jail, whatever. So there as well. Churches. I'm not criticizing anybody's religion or churches or whatever, but organized religion has a lot of the feeling that, when you behave this way, we approve. When you behave that way, we don't approve, which makes people have a lot of guilt when they, working things out in their life, or they're going through some troubled times and making decisions that are contrary to what the churches want. And that's approval seeking. Clubs do it. I love Toastmasters. I even started a Toastmasters club when I worked in corporate. I'm a Toastmaster myself today, but think about it. The club is also about approval seeking. It's everywhere, in societies, it's in corporations. I'm just letting you be aware that it's all around us in our lives everywhere. It's almost difficult to get away from it. But with the awareness that all of these things are about approval seeking, you can be comfortable knowing that, you can just be yourself and find your own self-value and don't have to conform to pleasing all these other societies, peoples, churches, governments, whatever. Be yourself. Have your own voice. Now I have a question for you. If you think about your life and all the people that are closest to you, whose lack of approval would hurt you the most? If you heard a voice in your life say, I really don't approve of what you're doing, whose voice would hurt you the most and why? And then, by the same token, if you heard a voice in your life saying, I don't approve of you, whose voice don't you care about? This is just for your own self-reflection, and the question is why? Remember, the value needs to come from inside you and not from outside you. So here are some typical examples of approval-seeking behavior. If ever you're feeling anxious or depressed when someone disagrees with you, that's a person who relies a lot on approval from outside. There's no need to feel anxious when someone disagrees with you. Oh, when I was thinking about Les Brown, sorry, now it's come to me. I forgot it early on. I said there's something about Les Brown I wanted to say. Les Brown says this, and he taught me to say it, and I use this myself. I often say, this is my opinion, it's just my opinion, and I know it's going to be controversial, and I say my say, and then I say, that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. If you want to practice that to get yourself feeling more comfortable in speaking your truth, do that. It really helped me. Years and years ago, I used to sometimes second guess my expressing my opinion because I knew it was going to be controversial, and I didn't know if I wanted people to say, no, I don't agree with that, that's rubbish. And then when I learned that line, that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it, it gave me a sense of self-assurance. And then I became quite comfortable and almost proud of myself to have an opinion, especially one that's different. So you now say, that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. So there's a line for you. Put that in your toolbox and use that yourself. Whenever you're not sure of an opinion and where it's going to land, you just say, well, that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. And when people disagree with you, say, that's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. Don't keep your mouth shut and your voice silent because you want approval. No. The next one is being excessively agreeable with everyone and head nodding, whatever they say, always agreeing with people. Even when you don't agree at all with what's being said, you just do it because you want them to like you. Don't do that. Speak your own truth. The next one is performing chores for someone, doing this, doing that, and then feeling resentful because you actually didn't want to do them in the first place. You wanted to say no. Be true to yourself. If you're not true to yourself, as I said, it's self-betrayal. It's the highest form of betrayal. By the same token, behaving in non-conforming ways for the purpose of gaining attention is also the same neurosis as conforming for the sake of seeking approval. So there you have it. Now, the irony is that people who seem to get the most approval in life are those who never seek it out. All these people you see here, they went about their lives. They did not seek approval. They were up against millions or thousands, countless people against them. But look what happened. They are the ones who have the most approval. They never seeked it. Can you connect the dots with this? Can you see that? I mean, even that young girl, Greta Thunberg, for climate change, she was not seeking approval anywhere. The first thing she did was strike from school and sit outside the government in Sweden. She wasn't seeking approval, and look what she's created today. She's got millions of followers around the world, and she's one of the greatest leaders for change when it comes to climate change. So here are 10 steps to becoming a non-approval seeking person. The first one is an awareness. Just have an awareness that it stems from insecurity. Start to work on yourself if that's you. Develop your own sense of self-worth. Just know you are loved, you are valuable, you are worthy because of what you are, not because of what other people think of you. Thirdly, accept yourself, who you are and as you are. Accept yourself. Love yourself as you are. Practice self-love. Do things that are good for you. Be kind to yourself. Don't say yes when you want to say no. If you want to know how to do that, I've got another Meaningful Monday lesson. It's on my YouTube channel. It's called something like How to Develop Self-Love. I'm not too sure the exact title, but it's about self-love. It's a fantastic lesson. Everyone should listen to it. We should practice more and more self-love. The next one is understand why you're seeking approval. Where does it come from? Ask yourself, why don't you trust your own opinion? Why do you need other people's approval? Why does it matter so much? The next one, journal your thoughts. Journaling is a great way to see your thoughts, and as you get better and better over time, you can look back and then you have evidence of how far you've come. Even if it's just a little page every morning or every night, just journal your thoughts, how you're thinking, how you're feeling. Whoops. The next one is trust yourself. Trust yourself. Don't let anyone tell you that your choices aren't good enough. If that's what you want to do, stick to what you want to do. Believe in yourself, trust yourself, and hold on to your own truth. Don't compare yourself to anyone. Comparison is the thief of joy. It will diminish your self-esteem. The worst way to treat yourself is to compare. You are unique. You're meant to be unique. You're meant to stand out. Don't try to be like other people. Number 9, continue to practice non-approval seeking. You'll get better as time goes by. And number 10, trust your intuition. There's a little voice inside you. Trust that little voice. Trust your intuition. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself. So when we're almost going to say something to please people or say something for approval, when you're in touch with your intuition, you're guided to say what you have to say, the real truth, and not just say things and listen to people on the outside, listen to their voice, listen to your own voice. So last but not least, got I think 2 more slides. This one is a quote from Lao Tzu. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. Cannot emphasize the importance of understanding this towards your own personal freedom and happiness. The best thing you can say is to yourself is you don't care what other people think. You care about what you think about what you say and do. And I absolutely love this. It says approval-seeking behavior is intended to get more approval and respect from others, yet what people generally respect is the very opposite. What I mean is people who are true to themselves generally get the most approval from others. So it's nice to have the approval of others, but the way to get it is to have self-approval and self-respect. Be comfortable in your own skin and speak your own mind and speak your own truth. So I hope that was a helpful lesson for all of you and that you got some real value out of that. If anyone wants to make any comments before we do the quick meditation, you can speak now. You can unmute your microphones. Any comments from anyone? No? Well, speak anytime you can. Just check that your microphone is unmuted. Just be, yep.
Hey, Jeanine.
Yes.
Hi, Jeanine. This is Gayatri, and Ritika from Brisbane.
Yes.
I personally really liked it. Like I mailed you before also, not doing very well in life right now. But I think this session was really an eye-opener. And tomorrow when I go and see my psychologist, I'm very sure that I'll be at a better place than I was today. And I am really grateful for this session. Thank you.
That's the best feedback I could have got tonight. I'm just happy for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This really means a lot to me.
Fantastic. And I want to commend you for joining the webinar, because many people need a lot of help and they need a lot of positive energy or positive affirmation or positive talk a voice into their life, but they don't jump onto the webinar. So I call it self-care. So you've really taken a step to not joining. So I'm really, really so happy for you, and I'm happy you got value out of it. For me, you've made my night. Believe me.
Thank you. And I think I would like to say that I could jump into this webinar because I had a friend like Jayanti, who is also my housemate. And then I have other friend like Pratika, who did join into this. And, you know, three of us watching this video together, listening to your voice. And I think it is really going to stay with us for a very long time. It is a memory that we are making here.
That's fantastic. And that's so beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing your voice right now in front of everyone. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, like you said, you have to give out your opinion.
Yes, that's what I always say to people. It doesn't matter what your opinion is as long as you have one. It's true. It's really true. Yeah. And it's good to have an opinion even when people don't agree, because it helps us think, and maybe we change our mind, which is also okay. But just express your opinion, because then you are a person. You're not just an invisible thing walking around. You know, have a voice in this world. Your voice counts.
Jeanine, we're getting better and better.
You sure are. I can say that. All right. So anyone else want to add anything? Please just jump in and talk. If I'm talking, I'll keep quiet. Just jump in, unmute your mic. You can do it anytime. Just to tell you the events coming up, and then we'll do a quick meditation. Next Meaningful Monday is the 2nd of December. So it's always the first Monday of the month. I'm talking about procrastination. I actually wanted to do it this lesson, but intuitively, something said to me, do this one of you don't need other people's approval. And I'm glad I did this lesson. And I think it's the right time for many people. So we'll talk about procrastination next time. The events coming up, I just want people to know, if you are wanting to attend the Silva method in November, or you couldn't, these dates are potentially changing. I had 6 people, 6 today, tell me for some things to come up they can't do now, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to get hold of everyone this week and ask them what dates do suit them, and I'm going to readjust the dates. So if you know anyone who wants to attend Silva or thinking about it, just stay in touch with me. It probably won't be this weekend because 6 people have things come up, they're sick, or have something on at work. Someone lost an employee, they have to work on Saturday now. So just letting you know. The other thing that's coming up, I highly recommend, is a mastermind on this fantastic book, Developing the Leader Within You. Now, I've been a John Maxwell team member, certified speaker, trainer, and coach of John Maxwell since 2013. I joined the team in 2012. And I have to say that this book is without a doubt the best book I have read yet of John Maxwell, and it's new. He brought it out, I think, this year. That's why it's 2.0. So it's a revision of an older book he wrote years ago called Developing the Leader, but this book is fantastic and it's practical. It's so easy to become a better person, even with problem-solving skills, step by step how to do it. The chapter on attitude is phenomenal. There's so much about failure, I was mentioning earlier. So if anybody wants to join, please don't miss out. There are a few spots left. You can do it remotely. We use Zoom or phone, or you can meet me in the office. It's 5 weeks. It will be one of the most wonderful personal growth journeys, I assure you, if you join, that you've ever been on. And I love a mastermind because you don't learn everything in 2 days. It's spaced over 5 weeks. You get a chance to internalize it, act on it, test it, use it, and integrate it. And I promise you, leadership determines a person's level of effectiveness in life and your success. So I can't talk more highly about it. I love the book. For me, it's inspired me enormously, and I look forward to the mastermind. So that's on the 18th of November. If anyone wants to join, just get hold of me. Okay. Are you all ready to meditate? If you are, what you need to do is just make yourself comfortable, find yourself a comfortable position, but first get a little piece of paper and a pen. Just get a piece of paper and a pen, something to write on. And for those who are new, you're going to go into meditation with your eyes closed. I'm going to guide you, listen to the voice. And then once I've taken you through a long relax and visualizing a tranquil scene, and visualizing clearing your energy through a lovely waterfall of healing light. At the very end, I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and you're going to be now in meditation. When I ask the question, whatever comes up for you, the first answers in your mind, first impressions, just open your eyes and write the answers down. Once you've written whatever came to mind, just close your eyes again, take a breath, and just go back into meditation. There'll be 3 questions at the end. It's all about, what's your intention for the month of November? What do you need to do? What do you need to let go of? Things like that. And I want to give the people who are new an experience here of being able to get guidance from your higher self, which is right and true for you. And it's the best guidance you could ever get. Better than anyone else in this world is your own higher self. And this will be proof. So make sure you relax. The goal is to relax deeply so your conscious mind is shut down. By the time you get to the questions, we don't want your conscious mind analyzing the question. We just want sit there in a dreamy state. Whatever pops in your head, scribble that out. Okay? I hope that's easy to understand. I'm just going to put some music on. So just get yourself comfortable, everybody. Space out those who are all together there in Brisbane. And there's just a little bit of quiet music. I'm going to put my camera off so you don't worry about what you look like or what I look like. And the goal is just to relax. So find yourself a comfortable position now. Close your eyes. And take a nice deep belly breath in the bottom of your belly. Not up in the chest. Take a deep belly breath as if you're squeezing into all the corners of your belly. And as you exhale, just consciously allow the tensions in your body to release. The goal is just to relax. Take another deep belly breath. And as you exhale, feel your body relaxing. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Just relax your scalp, the top of your head. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, relax your neck and shoulders. Relax your shoulders and your arms all the way down to your hands. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel the tension leaving your back. Relax your back from the top of your neck all the way down your spine. Now relax your chest. Take a deep belly breath, and as you exhale, relax your abdomen. Relax your pelvic area and hip area. Take another deep breath, and as you exhale, allow the tension to leave your thighs. Just relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet all the way down to your toes. Take another deep breath and just relax your body completely. Let all the stress and tension be released through every exhale. Now you're going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere that you've been or somewhere that you'd like to go. Just make it a place where you feel totally relaxed. What I would like you to do now is experience this place in your mind as if you are really there. Do that right now and take your time. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Use your imagination. Place this waterfall of white light wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. This light is a healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Using your imagination, your visualization, walk over to the waterfall and stand under this white healing light and allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. It is clearing all the stress and the tension and the clutter of not just today or this past week or the past month, not even of the last year, but of your entire lifetime. Feel it clearing all the stress and tension. Feel it clearing that stress and tension from your energy field, from your atmosphere or your aura. And as this white healing light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you radiate love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes, imagine your ideal place of relaxation, and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now take a deep breath, relax deeper, and repeat these beneficial statements to yourself mentally. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health, so keep in mind that from now on, I will occasionally be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. All those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments, allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered. You are energized. You're able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Just take a moment now to enjoy this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month. It is now time to set your intention for the month of November. Tune in to your inner wisdom. Tune into your higher self. I'm going to do a 10 to 1 countdown. When I reach the count of 1, you will have tuned into your higher self, that part of you that, if you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned into your own inner wisdom, the part of you that intuitively knows what is best for you. So feel the alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. And now ask yourself the following question. What do I need to focus on for the month of November? What do I need to focus on for the next month ahead? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Then take a deep breath, close your eyes, and just re-enter your calm state. Next question. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever comes up, write it down. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Next question. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? Remember to write down anything that pops in your head. Don't judge it, just write it down. And the last question is there anything else I need to know or do? Is there anything else? And now just take a deep breath. And as you exhale, relax. Bring your attention back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. Have a big stretch. Blessings to all of you. Okay. Welcome back, everybody. That's the end of our meeting for Monday. I just, I'll ask, you don't have to answer me, but did you get any answers that are feeling really true for you and helpful for you? I just want to say, whatever answers you got, you can trust them and definitely act on them, because if you were deeply relaxed and your conscious mind was shut down, they will come from a higher place of guidance or intuition for you. So that's that for tonight. Thank you so much for joining. And I hope that you all join next Monday again. If anyone wants to say anything or share anything, please do. I'll stay on the line until the last person is left. And I'll stop the recording.